Hi friends, there is a saying which tells if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Unlike other exams, UPSC Civil Services exams demands a clear strategy. So if you are preparing for 10, 20, 30 years, you may fail without a proper strategy. So today we will discuss the most simple and smart strategy to clear UPSC Civil Services exams and mainly prelims. I'm Uma Maheshwari, a teacher, banker, software engineer, and a passionate learner. I have cleared Civil Services Exam 2018 and Civil Services Prelims with a score of 118 when the original cutoff for that year was just 98. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the single step. It requires a lot of energy and confidence to break up the initial inertia and to take that first initial step. And if you are in that stage, and if you are confused on how to begin the preparation, and if you are a clean state and have no idea on how to start preparation and how to enter into the prelims and then how to prepare for mains, then please let me suggest you the following points. The first step would be to memorize the syllabus. There is syllabus for both prelims and mains. So memorize the syllabus for both prelims and mains. And even the syllabus for prelims is very general, but the syllabus for mains is specific and vast. Please do. I would suggest you that you take a printout of all the syllabus of all the papers and paste them in front of your study table. And daily you start memorizing the syllabus. So the important point with respect to civil services exam is that you have to stop studying the unnecessary things. So how will you filter the necessary things? Only if you are aware of the syllabus. So please do study the syllabus, and whenever you find an article or material which is relevant to the syllabus, please do study it. Otherwise, you can skip them. And the first step is syllabus. So once you're done with the syllabus, you when memorizing the tables, you have to memorize the syllabus for mains and also prelims. And the second step would be you must study the previous year questions at least for 9 years because from 2011 to 2009, especially to understand the UPSC trend, to understand the mindset of the examiner, how the questions are framed in the examination. So to know that, you must check the previous year questions of both prelims and mains. So there is a shortcut for you because you cannot study everything via book. So we at Pivotin have introduced a specific video, a specific course for which solved the previous year questions of prelims from 2011 to 2009, and it is available at pivotin.in. You can take up the course, and so that you can spend daily 20 minutes and watch 2 videos, and daily you will solve 20 questions of previous year prelims, and in 45 days you will be done with the entire previous year questions from 2011 to 2019. So this is a shortcut pill. So in UPSC, smart preparation is very much important. So spending 20 minutes a day is the most smartest way to check the previous year questions in 45 days. I hope the course would be useful, and if you are a serious aspirant, this course is definitely vital for you. And once you're done with the syllabus, and the previous year questions is an ongoing process, you have to take up that daily. And thirdly, I would suggest you have to go for NCRTs. See, if you have not attended any coaching centers, or if you are preparing self on your own, and if you are at home and you are going to rely completely on online courses, then I would suggest you have to start up with NCRTs. See, the NCRTs from 6th to 10th for all the subjects is a must. If you have not attended any coaching institute, or even if you have attended, if you want to have the basic idea to start the preparation, to know how the subject is asked, and if you want to know in clarity the entire depth of the subject, then NCRTs are must. You may find it silly and easy to read the 6th, 7th, 8th NCRTs, but they are very essential because you will have a broad idea of all the subjects. And I would suggest you NCRTs for all the subjects. And there are some subjects for which you have to read the NCRTs of 11th and 12th too. So for history, 11th and 12th NCRTs are must. Uh, old or new, okay, because it deals with the ancient India, medieval India, modern India, and this is vital. And for science, you need not learn the NCRTs of 11th, 12th chemistry, physics. No, they'll be very complicated, according to me. And if you are, have a special liking for it, you may go with them, but not many questions are asked from them. And so I would suggest you to take up specific chapters on genetics and molecular biology from 11th and 12th. 11th and 12th NCRTs, because some questions in prelims or come from those subjects, and also in mains you can make use of those points. And for geography, 11th and 12th NCRTs are a must. And for society, NCRT class 12, Indian society, that would help you. So you have to read that too. And for economics, again, NCRTs 11th and 12th. So these are the NCRTs you have to cover. And coming to the standard books, see, these are the standard books. I've taken the shortest because not so many books I've suggested, because the lesser number of books you read, the more number of revisions you can do, and the better your chances for clearing the exam. So revision is the key. So you have to filter out the materials and read in minimum. So for history, a brief history of modern India, Spectrum publications, this is must. And Bipin Chandra, you can take the left out topics which are not found in the Spectrum. For reading both these things, you must have memorized the syllabus. So with respect to the syllabus, study the books. And for, as we mentioned earlier, NCRT history, the 11th and 12th, they have to be done for ancient India, medieval India, and post-independent India. And for art and culture, nowadays the questions with respect to art and culture are less. So you need not study extensively for them, but NCRTs are a must. An introduction to Indian art, class 11th NCRT, heritage crafts and living crafts traditions of India, that is also an NCRT book. And for world history, it is purely for mains, and maximum of 2 to 3 questions are asked now, and even sometimes it may be left out when you are writing the mains. So I would suggest you go for only NCRTs for world history. And please do for mains. I would tell you one more thing, which is the preparation for prelims and mains should be integrated. So after you clear the prelims, you cannot start your mains preparation. That will be hectic. So when you prepare for prelims, you have to start preparing for mains too. So with respect to the mains, what I would tell is, whenever you read a topic with respect to mains, you make notes of it. The notes must be very crispy. It should not run for pages. So for world history, you take the syllabus, and for every topic, you should have minimum 1 page or 2 page note. The hints should be there, and this must be taken from the NCRTs. When you're done with the world history syllabus, with the notes, that's it. That is the material for your world history. Don't revise any other book. And one more suggestion from my side would be, don't study the same topic from different books. Please do study a single topic from one book only. And for geography, 11th and 12th NCRTs are a must. And GC Leon, only if you have time, please do study the book. If you have time, it is okay. Or else 11th and 12th NCRTs plus current affairs are sufficient. And for society, NCRT class 12 Indian society is a must. And social problems in India by Ram Ahuja, only if you have time, it would help you much in mains. And for polity, the Bible is Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. So please do religiously study the book. And you can also study second ARC reform summary for mains. This, please underline the point, I'm telling only summary, not the entire report, which runs for pages. No, please don't waste your time. The summary which comes available in net, please do take the summary and read and note down the points. And for economics, I would suggest you to go for 11th and 12th NCRT or the 11th and 12th Tamil Nadu State Board books, which are come with a revised edition. Okay, and so this or that, not both. Okay, and to know the basics very clearly, I would suggest you Shankar Ganesh. The concepts are very crisp and clear. And Ramesh Singh, I would recommend you only if you have time. If you are going to give your prelims by 2022, then you can go. Otherwise, if you are going to take up the prelims in 2020 or 2021, I would not suggest you this. If you have time, ample number of time, and you can go for Ramesh Singh too. And the must is economic survey and current affairs for economics. And science and technology, as we said in the NCRTs, the chapters I have told you already. So besides NCRT, you have to study the current affairs and India yearbook portions of science and technology. And for environment, a standard book like NIOS material or Shankar IAS Academy's book is sufficient. And along with that, you have to go for current affairs. So for all the static part, along with the standard books, you have to study the current affairs too. Now let us come to the most important section with respect to civil services exam, which is the current affairs. So regular newspaper reading is must and vital, and I would suggest you the Hindu for prelims, and I would not suggest you to take notes, daily notes, because it will run for so many pages and you cannot revise them. So I would not suggest you to take notes. But how will you take the important information? I have an idea for that. We'll see it later. And so a newspaper daily you have to read it, and I would suggest you with the Hindu for prelims and mains, and current affair magazine. I would suggest you any standard magazine, any standard monthly magazine like Vision, Insights, whichever you prefer, you can read it. Okay, but current affair magazine is a must, because in Hindu you'll have the news, but the history and the entire details of the news will be coming in the current affair magazine. So uh, when you revise the current affair magazine, it will be easy for you to get in depth of the subject. And as you know, in prelims the questions are asked in every nook and corner of the news. So to understand and to answer such questions, current affair magazine is a must. So you have to read any standard current affair magazine. And before prelims, there will be a PT 365, which will be specifically framed for prelims, and they will be taken up from the monthly magazine itself. So it will be a kind of revision only. It will not be new. So read the monthly magazine and go for PT 365 before prelims, and before mains, go for mains 365, and it will be also taken only from the monthly magazine. So you will not be learning this newly. It will be a kind of revision. So these are main mandatory parts for current affairs. And when you read the newspaper and the magazines, what are the points you have to note? I'll tell you that you keep separate files or separate notes for such things. That is, when you read some important facts, like some rank on gender inequality, or ease of doing business, or any other data related to population, or some malnutrition, such important facts which can be used for both mains, and it will be useful in prelims too. So such facts you have to note down separately in a note and you keep it. Okay, so this is very important. Only the notes. Don't write pages of notes, only the facts, direct facts only, which will be useful for the exam after you read the syllabus. And also committee recommendations. So many committees would have recommended important things. I would tell you strictly just take 2 or 3 points of those committees and note it down, not more than 2 points. And make sure that you revise those committee recommendations so that you can produce them when you practice for mains. Keeping the facts and committee recommendations is not enough. You have to apply them when you write. And so please do make a note of whatever committee recommendations that you see in newspaper or the current affair magazine, and only 2 points. And you can, when you read the newspaper, sometimes you get some valuable quotes, some nice quotes, which you can also note it down in a separate file. So 3 separate files, okay, and in which you can add more quotes whenever you go out, or if you read a book as for relaxation, you can find some quotes which which will be very useful for mains, because when you start writing the test series for mains, you will be in need of such quotes. So please do make note of them too. And indices, reports, and ranks by important organizations. For this, I would suggest a separate file. This this should be exclusive of statistics, because the statistics will come in the important facts, like the population data, the ranking in the with respect to PPP. All those things will be coming in the factual data, and the indices, like the World Bank's ease of doing index, and what are the sub parameters in it, and who prepares such index, and who prepares this report. All these things have to be, whichever comes in the news, this has to be noted in a separate file. So you have to put 4 separate files with respect to current affairs, and not writing the news as such. Okay, and I would also suggest you that the important facts you have to organize with respect to GS1, GS2, and GS3. All these things you have to uh, all these files have to be arranged, organized with respect to GS1, GS2, GS3. That is, everything should be arranged in order. If you find a fact and if it comes under GS1, it should be in that part of the file. And if it is in GS3, GS2, it should be in another part of the file. So like this, you have to have an organized filing. And the most important element of civil services exam is revision. Revise, revise, revise. That is the mantra to clear civil services exam. So whatever effort you put it, if you don't revise it, everything will be waste. So I would suggest you spend most of your time for revision. And you can do it only when you study limited number of books and when you have limited notes. Nextly, I'll suggest you some of the reports which are important with respect to mains. So, economic survey, it is a must, and chapter 1 would be the most important one because chapter 1 covers the entire economic survey crisply. So, even if you didn't have time to read the entire economic survey, I would suggest you before mains at least read the chapter 1 and go so that you can use them for mains. And in prelims too, so many questions are asked directly from economic survey, so it is very important. And also, please do read the budget highlights. And as I said, second ARC report summary. And this will be helpful for your polity section and also for ethics. And I would again underline the word summary, not the entire report, summary. And another important report would be Niti Aayog strategy for New India at 75. It is actually around 200 pages. You need not study everything. You just take the syllabus and whichever is important for you. Once you read the report, you just note down some points, okay, so that you can use it again. You can revise it again. So the entire 200 pages, you must limit it to 5 pages. The entire Niti Aayog strategy. Once you bring it to 5 pages, you can revise them before mains. And Niti Aayog 3-year action plan report. This is also a wonderful report. So you can also read it if you have time. I would suggest you specifically if you have time, you can read this. And this is also very important with respect to mains. And this also please make a note and bring it to 5 pages. So both these Niti Aayog reports you should have revised with just 10 pages in 10 minutes. And also, as we said, we filed the important points, committee recommendations and reports in news, 2 points. That should be also revised before mains. These are the important data which you have to revise before mains and also prelims. And with respect to prelims, I would suggest you one thing, which is it is not about how many pages you read or how many information you gather or how many passages and how many books you have studied. It is about how analytical you think and how clearly you can solve the questions. So to get such thinking, you must solve maximum number of questions, and your efforts must be consistent. So in the morning, as we said, based on the course, that is in Pivot's website, there is a course especially for previous year questions. So dedicate your initial 20 minutes in the morning for previous year questions, and it depends, it varies 20 to 40 minutes, okay. And so that is one point, okay, to get the analytical thinking with respect to UPSC prelims. And second thing I would suggest is you would have read so many things in a day for prelims and mains. So daily I would ask you to prepare. You yourself make 10 questions. How UPSC would question. Okay, in that manner you have to prepare 10 questions daily. It may be from current affairs. It may be from your standard books. And so this should be a regular practice. Daily 10 questions. You prepare it and you keep it in a note. Okay. And another important thing is you have to join a standard test series. It is not only to know more information, but to know your own strategy. Because some people would have confirmed answers correct, but some will have more number of intuitions and guesses correct. And how is your strategy for you? How things are working for you? To understand that, you must join a standard test series, and it will be you have to attend it by weekend. And for the weekdays, you have to prepare religiously for that test series, and you give it up. And this standard test series, it will definitely it will aid you in your prelims. Not because direct questions will be asked from this test series. I would not tell you that way, because the questions may or may not come from the test series which you attend, but with a time limit, and your mind would have got practiced to think in that constrained environment. So to practice your mind, such standard test series are important, and you must attend it every weekend. And this should be your timetable. I'm telling you a sample timetable. If you already have a timetable, please proceed with that only. And there should be a macro timetable that is on what are the portions and when are you going to complete them. Like the optionals should be completed before October or November, and the mains, especially the answer writing and the main syllabus coverage, they should be done by December. And the exclusive prelims preparation must start from January to April, and revision, the entire month of May must be allocated for revision. This would be your macro timetable. And also put your own monthly schedule, so that how will you cover all those things, all the targets of your macro timetable. And based on your monthly schedule, put a weekly schedule. And based on your weekly schedule, put a daily schedule. Let me show you a sample daily schedule, so that people would be actually confused on how to prepare such daily schedules. So I'll give you a sample daily schedule, and you can prepare your own things. Okay, so daily in this schedule, I have put timings like for 10 hours for studying and 1 hour for revision. And also I have added the other activities for relaxation like walking, exercise, meditation, etc., because they are very important. And also 8 hours sleep time I have given. So by 5:30, if you wake up and do your meditation, your first study session should start by 6 o'clock, 6 to 8. And also the study sessions coverage of lessons would vary from month to month. So these are the different things which you have to do for every different month. And again, I have suggested given time for breakfast and newspaper. I have given 1 hour for newspaper because you need not waste your time in notes taking from newspaper. You have to read the newspaper thoroughly, and only you need not read the entire newspaper. Again, I underline, based on your syllabus, whichever is relevant, only those parts you are going to read. And again, 3 hours I've given for study session 2. And current affairs, because afternoon we usually feel sleepy, but we have exams, both prelims and mains, in the afternoon. So we should not practice sleeping during noon. So important sessions like current affairs, they'll be very dynamic and vibrant. So we'll not feel sleepy when we study current affairs. So I have put the current affairs portion in from 2 to 4:30. This would be for a newspaper. Already you'll read it in the morning. This current affairs is for current affairs magazine especially. And by 4:30 to 5, given a coffee break. And I have also suggested another relaxation like exercise, walking, or music, whichever you prefer. And also another study session by evening. And 1 hour daily spent for revision. And 8 hours sleep is a must, because the sleep time is very important for your brain to rejuvenate. And revision, if you are going to study a thing newly, you'll study it during your study session, revise it at the end of the day, and also you have to have a third revision at the end of the week, and a fourth revision at the end of the month, and a fifth revision during week. So 5 times at least you have to revise a passage which you feel as important. So that is the important thing. And also I would tell you that this daily schedule is for Monday to Friday. Okay, Saturday fully you have to spend it for revision, and Sunday would be for test series. Again, I would suggest the same thing for test series too. Take up the test series, and you have to revise the same at the end. That is, by night you have to revise it, and again you have to revise them before exams. So 3 times you have to revise the test series. And it depends from persons to persons. If you want to revise the test series 5 times, it's okay. You put your schedule for that and do revise it. And that is it. I've given a simple strategy for you. And I hope this is very useful for you, and especially to people who have no clarity on how to start and how to prepare. This would be beneficial. All the best, friends. Have a nice day. I wish you rock the civil services exam. Thank you.